आज के प्रोग्राम गीतमाला में दर्शन सहोता की ओर से नमस्कार, सत श्री अकाल और अदावस और आप सभी भाई बहनों का हार्दिक स्वागत करते हुए शुरू करते हैं आज का प्रोग्राम। आज फ्राइडे का दिन है। फ्राइडे के बाद हॉलीडेज भी होती हैं, सैटरडे संडे की, तो इसलिए ज़्यादा खुशी होती है आज के दिन की। लेकिन उससे भी बड़ी बात, आज फ्राइडे को आप सुनते हैं गीतमाला में फ्राइडे नाइट मनी शो। तो आज रंजीत धालीवाल जी आज हमारे साथ हैं। रंजीत धालीवाल जो बहुत ही सुलझे हुए, बहुत ही आपको ऑनेस्ट सर्विसेज देने वाले मॉर्गेज ब्रोकर हैं और प्रेसिडेंट हैं क्लैरिटी फाइनेंशियल के। आपने कोई भी मॉर्गेज लेनी हो या रीफाइनेंसिंग करवानी हो, एक बार जरूर इनसे अपॉइंटमेंट बनाकर मिलें। आपका हजारों डॉलर का फायदा करवा के देंगे रंजीत धालीवाल जी। रंजीत धालीवाल का टेलीफोन नंबर है 416-992-7265 416-992-7265। Ranjit ji, welcome to Geetmala.
Thank you very much, sir.
How are you?
Very good. Nice to be here.
All right, मेरा पहला सवाल आपके लिए, अगर हम कोई घर खरीदते हैं, उसके लिए मॉर्गेज लेते हैं, तो क्या इस मॉर्गेज में हम अपना अनसिक्योर्ड डेट भी डाल सकते हैं, जैसा कि कोई लोन हो हमारा, या लाइन ऑफ क्रेडिट हो, या क्रेडिट कार्ड्स का कर्जा हो?
So basically, what you're asking is, when you're planning on buying a house, can you add your unsecured debts, such as loans, lines of credits, and credit cards, into that mortgage?
Right.
And you know what? We actually get a lot of calls, this nature, this type of calls, and people think that for some reason, if you own a house, you would qualify for a debt consolidation loan, or the bank would be willing to give you much higher mortgage to pay off all these debts.
Gee.
Now, but really, if you have the down payment, if you have excessive money, more than whatever the down payment required is, obviously you can use that money to pay off this stuff. If, however, you're paying like 5% down or 10% down, even 15% down, you cannot add any of that stuff into the mortgage. Because the refinance rules nowadays are you can only refinance up to 85% of the home.
I see.
Right? So definitely you cannot include that into the house. However, there is an interesting program that I've got out there for first-time buyers that I call the Dhaliwal maneuver, which is basically to go from debt to home ownership in 100 days.
Gee.
Now, you can use that particular strategy to sort of get around this idea of having debts included into some sort of a consolidation loan, which is at a lower rate and lower payments and so on. So what we do is we use the RSP Home Buyers Program for this. So you got to be, in order to use the RSP Home Buyers Program, which is basically the government is allowing you to access the funds that are sitting in your RSPs for the purpose of buying your first home, or if you haven't owned a house in the last 4 calendar years, or if you've owned a home but you've made losses on it, you still qualify as a first-time buyer. The other requirement is that the money must be sitting in the RSPs for at least 90 days. So what we do is, assuming a person, let's say, is renting right now, and there's a lot of individuals in this type of a situation where they're renting and they go to their bank and the banker says, sorry, your debt servicing ratio is too high, you don't qualify for a mortgage because you've got all this outstanding credit card bills and lines of credits and so on, which have very high payments and also extremely high interest rates as high as 29%. So what we do for them is we get them, let's assume that they are making really good money, even if it's one income earner making $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year. And so they're in roughly about a 40% tax bracket. What we do is we can give them a loan of up to $50,000 to invest into their own RRSP and into their spouse's RRSP.
Gee.
So this loan is amortized over 10 years and it's at a rate of about 7%. So the payment is pretty low. The payment is less than $500 on this loan. And the money has to sit there for 90 days. And assuming that the person buys a home to live in, now what we do is we cash out that RSPs after 90 days. We can cash it out and we can put it into their savings account. It doesn't have to go directly to a lawyer or towards the down payment of a house. You can use it for whatever purpose as long as you are buying a home. So we put it into your savings account. Now, as a result of doing that $50,000 RSP contribution, you also qualify for about up to $23,000 of tax rebate.
Gee.
Or let's say in this particular case, $20,000 because the guy's in a 40% tax bracket. So they gets $20,000. So You've got 20 plus you got 50, so you got $70,000 sitting in your bank account. And
Yeah.
it could be as high as 73 if you're in the highest tax bracket. So you got the $70,000 sitting in your bank account. What we do then is we pay off the higher interest rate and higher payment credit cards and lines of credits and loans. And then what we can do is after all that is done, their debt servicing comes in line. So now they qualify for a mortgage. Right? And their cash flows obviously clearly has improved. And then we can get them a house with as little as 5% down, which can come out of the $70,000. Or we could still get them a house with zero down at a rate of 5.19%. So the zero down is actually, it's not even zero down. The bank will gift you 5%. So basically a cashback mortgage. Normally they don't make a lot of sense, but in this particular case it might make perfect sense because you're replacing your 18.5%, 29% debt at a rate as low as 5.19%.
जी.
Right? And the bank is gifting you the down payment. So if you're buying a $400,000 home, that's another $20,000 that's at your disposal. So altogether you got about $90,000 to go towards the down payment, the closing costs, to pay off debts and so on. In many cases, anybody that uses this strategy that I call the Dhaliwal maneuver, from debt to home ownership in 100 days, they start noticing a significant increase in the amount of money that they're saving on a monthly basis, because now their mortgage is going down on a monthly basis, their price is starting to go up, they're starting to build equity, and their cash flow actually increases. So whatever payments they were making on rent and all these other credit cards and loans and lines of credits, that is all eliminated. It's replaced by a single mortgage payment, essentially.
Oh.
And they have up to 15 years to pay back that RRSP loan that they borrowed from their RRSP, and they get first 2 calendar years free. Basically, they don't have to pay anything back, so they get a break. So if you were to use that program right now, this year in 2011, then you can essentially you have up to 2012 you don't have to pay it back. 2013 you don't have to pay it back. 2014 you pay it back, and you have all the way up to March 1st of 2015 to start paying it back.
Okay.
And if your spouse doesn't make that much money, then they're not even required to pay it back. There won't be any penalties or anything like that. So it's a great program. So normally you cannot include these debts into a mortgage, but this is a great strategy, a great way to do it. So if you're interested in this strategy, you can give me a call. Anybody that calls me right now, I'll send it to you, a free report in writing to your email address. You just call me right now at 416-992-7265 and just say you're looking for the debt to home ownership in 100 days report.
मुझे पता था आपने इसका सलूशन कोई ना कोई जरूर निकाला होगा, इसीलिए मैंने आपसे पूछा। चलिए, अगला सवाल है मेरा कि जब हम मॉर्गेज लेते हैं,
हाँ जी,
हम चाहते हैं अक्सर कि इसकी जो पेमेंट है वो कम से कम रहे ताकि हम किसी प्रॉब्लम में नहीं आए।
यस।
अमोर्टाइजेशन ज्यादा से ज्यादा मैक्सिमम कितनी ले सकते हैं आजकल?
Well, we can still do 35-year amortization. So just to differentiate the term amortization from the mortgage term is how long you have a contract with a bank to stay with them. So it could be a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, 7 year, 10 year, right?
Yeah,
the term. Yeah. But the amortization is for the amount of time it takes to retire the entire mortgage. So you might have shifted banks maybe 2-3 times in between. And so the amortization period is how long is it? Do you have the loan? How long do you have to pay it off? And that amortization is, we can go all the way up to 35 years, sir.
लेकिन गवर्नमेंट ने 35 years की तो बंद कर दी थी।
You got good memory. You're absolutely right. The mortgage is where we need to get the government insurance through CMHC, Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. There you can only have a maximum amortization of 30 years. But if you're putting 20% down, we can go all the way up to 35 years. Now, also, I think the confusion is caused because a lot of the big banks, they're only doing 30-year amortizations, whereas through just mortgage banks alone, which are available through mortgage brokers, you can get up to 35 year amortization.
Okay. रंजीत जी, एक कमर्शियल ब्रेक लेना चाहूंगा। उससे पहले आप अपना आज का जो स्पेशल है हमारे लिसनर्स के लिए वह दें और उसकी जानकारी दें और अपना टेलीफोन नंबर भी दें।
Sir, the special is again that free report from debt to home ownership in 100 days. Anybody can call me, especially if you're a real estate agent. You really want to have this for your first-time buyers. And it's totally free to you. It's going to be emailed to you right away from myself. And if you want to talk about your situation, we can also discuss that as well. You have to leave me your name and telephone number, and I will get back to you myself. We'll send you that report, and we can talk about your situation. The number to call is 416-992-7265. 416-992-7265. 612-7265. Anyone that leaves me their contact details, I will send them that free report today.